What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be going over how I think Red Death could be a main villain in The Flash Season 9. So yeah, guys, let's just get right into it. So a lot of people have wanted to see Red Death on the show, myself included, and I'm really hoping that finally we can get him in Season 9. But anyways, Red Death in the comics, he, of course, is the combination of an evil version of Batman and Barry, making Red Death, basically a speedster Batman, which is, that's pretty neat in the comics. And, a ton of people have had their theories of how exactly Red Death could appear on the show. They've said, maybe Oliver Queen combines with Barry and creates Red Death. It could be just simple as Barry being contaminated by the negative speed force, blah, blah, blah. A ton of different theories. But I have one theory that I think is pretty likely just because of some recent events that have happened in the Arrowverse. Sorry, the Arrowverse is no longer a thing. Anyways, so if you guys read those recent comics the Arrowverse comics, I should say, they actually had a few cliffhangers in those comics that are supposed to apply to the TV shows themselves. That one of them being for Bloodwork. Now, in these comics, Bloodwork escapes, and we see a thing that says "continued in the Flash Season 9" or something like that. So yeah, if Bloodwork is potentially going to be returning in Season 9. I think he could be the Red Death, and here's how. Now, at the end of The Flash Season 8, we got ourselves a little bit of a cliffhanger that showed Barry and Iris talking. While they're talking about who the next negative Speed Force avatar could be, we get a scene of the future, 2049, where we see a blue crystal. Now, a lot of people think that this means the next negative Speed Force avatar is going to be Cobalt Blue. Now, here's the thing. They could just be teasing us with that, but in reality, Cobalt Blue could just be a separate villain, and the negative Speed Force avatar could just be somebody else, which is what I think should happen. Now, as I went over in my last video, I really think Cobalt Blue should just be like a totally separate villain from the negative Speed Force avatar, and what I think should happen here is that Bloodwork should obviously, we know Bloodwork escaped, so I think what should happen is he should be chosen as the negative Speed Force avatar, and then he will become the Red Death. I think that would be so cool. Now, if the Red Death is not going to be Bloodwork, who exactly could it be? Now, first things first, I think that if they're planning on bringing in Red Death to The Flash Season 9, I think that he will most definitely be the negative Speed Force avatar. I think that only makes sense. Now, who exactly else could be Red Death if it's not Bloodwork? I'm not exactly sure, but I have a couple of theories on who it could be. Is that, who knows? It could actually be like an alternate version of Barry and Batman combined. I think that's possible, especially with this like new Superverse stuff coming out, and basically that Superman and Lois obviously isn't in the Arrowverse, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to start this new universe. So I think if they, that definitely brings out the possibilities. So I think if they were to bring back some characters, I think they could say that this villain is from that other Earth or something like that. I don't know. Something like that could be pretty interesting, though. But I think that right there is highly unlikely. Something else that I think would be pretty interesting, but probably not the most likely, would be if the negative Speed Force tried to choose Barry as the negative Speed Force avatar. I think that would be really interesting. Maybe that's how the negative forces are like, what, if we want to defeat the Flash, let's try and choose him as the negative Speed Force avatar or something like that. And then they actually turn him into Red Death until eventually the normal Speed Force is able to get him out of that trance or something along those lines. Would be awesome. It'd sort of be like Dark Flash from the Bloodwork storyline. But yeah, what I think is the most likely option is that because, this Bloodwork comic book storyline of him escaping and the show, needing a negative Speed Force avatar line up pretty good, I think that Bloodwork being the Red Death is the most likely option if they're actually planning on bringing Red Death into the show. What I really like to see would be like a Cobalt Blue first half of the season, and then second half we get a Red Death. That's what I initially wanted for Season 8, but obviously they didn't do that. So if they actually did that for Season 9, I think that would be so cool. So yeah, let's only hope for the best. And one more really unlikely, random, but I guess kind of interesting thing is that, obviously at the end of The Flash Season 8, we had that little cliffhanger going to 2049 and seeing that blue crystal. Now, what if that blue crystal has absolutely nothing to do with The Flash Season 9? I mean, that's definitely unlikely, but what if it just has nothing to do with anything and they're just trying to fool us? Maybe, I guess it's possible Bloodwork could have somehow run away to the future and maybe he's hiding out in 2049, because obviously there's a lot of lab equipment, Bloodwork is a scientist doctor, so I think that could make sense of him running away to the future, but also that's very unlikely, so who knows. I think just if we get a Red Death, that would be so cool. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as your thoughts on all this Red Death stuff. Who do you guys think could be Red Death? Do you think they're actually going to bring in Red Death into the show in Season 9? Comment all your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.